I've got for everyone listening, Mark Feldner from Crimson. Mark is an early stage co-founder, or you're a founder or a co-founder, Mark?
Co-founder along with two
You're
others.
fantastic. Co-founder of Crimson. It's a young company, just about 6 months of age. And not only that, Mark is an early stage co-founder, he's also a recovering lawyer. So I'll leave it to Mark to quickly introduce himself to our listeners and viewers, and also tell us a little bit about Crimson.
Thanks, Timo. Great to be speaking to you. Hi, everyone. My name's Mark. As you just said, Timo, I'm a recovering lawyer. So I spent about 8 years in private practice as a disputes lawyer. I worked at Clifford Chance and then Wilmer Hale and Wilkie before quitting my job to focus fully on Crimson. And Crimson is an AI platform that's specifically focused on disputes. So we're an end-to-end solution for all things litigation and arbitration.
Fantastic. And can you please let us know um, from a competition standpoint, what's unique about Crimson? Where are you in the spectrum? Are you in a similar sort of bucket as someone like TrowView, or are you leaning more towards some of the more traditional discovery providers? Where on the spectrum of dispute resolution management is Crimson?
Yeah, so we're an AI platform. So everything we do is AI native and incorporates LLMs from the get-go. So that's what makes us stand apart from other disputes platforms, and what sets us apart from other AI tools, horizontal solutions, is really this pure focus on contentious work, just on litigation and arbitration, and that gives us an edge in terms of accuracy, in terms of workflow integration, and responds to a specific need in the market for dispute-specific solutions.
And being a legal professional in quite a few well-respected firms in the space, has this been of help to you in your startup journey? Has it made it easier having some of those client conversations? And can you tell us a little bit more about your early customer wins and some of those success stories that Crimson has had over the last 6 months?
Yes, absolutely. So I think having worked in the industry myself as a lawyer has been a massive benefit, just in terms of understanding the market, understanding the problem, but also the personal network of being able to speak to disputes lawyers across a range of firms, understanding um, what problems they face and hearing from them firsthand of what they're looking for in legal tech tools. That has all been extremely valuable. And so market validation was a big priority for us from the beginning. Before we built the product, we spoke to as many disputes lawyers as we could, and we interviewed more than 150 litigators and arbitrators from dozens of firms. There were a few common themes that kept coming up in terms of pain points and processes and things that people wanted to see improved, and that's what led to the first version of Crimson.
Awesome. So you very much have been building this with the support of your future users, and with obviously a lot of customer feedback. And with that in mind, what are some of the features that has received most positive feedback as part of this exercise?
Yeah, I'd say our drafting tool is probably the one um, that's been the most surprising in terms of how positive the reaction has been. Because in our interviews with disputes lawyers, a common theme was that lawyers said, well, actually, we quite enjoy drafting. This is not really something that we'd like to see automated. It's, there are more menial, tedious tasks than that. But it turns out if you give dispute lawyers a tool that's really designed for their practice area, that understands their case, that understands the party's position in a dispute, and that knows the firm's writing style, then that's a completely different picture. And lawyers have been very receptive to that. So we've had some amazing user feedback in response to our drafting tool, which helps lawyers draft dispute-specific documents like letters or pleadings or submissions. And I think that's been the most pleasant surprise in terms of how Crimson has been received.
And in terms of the user groups that you are targeting with this tool, is this a tool for more of the, let's say, top 50 firms out there, or is this a tool that is to be utilized by anyone that has got a dispute practice?
That's a great question. We've seen a really wide range of firms of lawyers interested in Crimson. So we're working with a number of disputes boutiques at the moment that all they do is litigation and arbitration like us. So that's a perfect match. And they're really excited to have a tool that's really specifically designed for their workflows and their processes. But we've also seen quite a lot of interest from mid-sized and large law firms with sometimes quite sizable disputes practices where it makes sense to invest in a tool that's really tailored to those processes. So it's a range of law firms from smaller specialized ones to bigger ones with um, big dispute specific practice areas.
And the jurisdictional application, is the tool currently um, used for common law practices, or can it also be used by, let's say, American firms?
Yeah, so our big initial focus is both the UK and the US.
Okay.
Both have very similar common law systems. Disputes are um, conducted in a very similar manner. So those are our two primary markets at the moment, but we do have plans to expand to Europe and to Asia Pacific as well.
So, I mean, US is always a natural expansion points for any dispute or litigation focused tools. The volume of litigation comparative to the UK, obviously it's astronomical. So I
Yeah.
can well see why you guys have made that choice. But in terms of your kind of existing initial pool of users, how are they split? You know, are they mostly here, or do you also see an initial uptake by American firms too?
Yeah, it's mostly in the UK at the moment, but we've
Hmm.
also had a bit of interest from disputes boutiques in the US. So there are quite a few
Hmm.
litigation arbitration boutiques, not just in the big cities, but really across the US.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's been a lot of interest on that front as well.
And I know it's very early days, and probably there is a big development agenda and a development map on the horizon. But what are some of the new features that are particularly exciting to you personally, in terms of what's coming up later this year for Crimson?
Yeah, one area that we're focusing on at the moment is visualizing case data. So that means extracting information from case files and then presenting that in a format that's really intuitive, really clear, visually appealing as well. Because a lot of what disputes lawyers do every day is piecing together data from different documents, from different strands of a case. And we're working on making that process a lot easier and a lot more fun for lawyers. So that's one area that we're working on at the moment.
And you're a bootstrap startup for the time being. Um, are you planning an investment round on the horizon?
Yes, we are. We'll be announcing something on that very soon. But for now, our focus really is on developing the product in response to customer feedback. So that's our main priority. We started out with a rough idea initially of what Crimson would look like, and we've had so much feedback from users, from customers, from prospects, and that's really guided our approach and shaped our product roadmap. So um, yeah, we're laser focused on delivering a an incredibly useful litigation and arbitration specific product.
And are you now at the minute actively taking on users for the tool, or are you still in beta testing with a small group of users?
Yes, we're working with customers, onboarding customers. So yeah, it's an exciting time for Crimson.
Awesome. So anyone that is listening to this, if you're not coming to Future Law UK, we'll tag Mark on this post if you'd like to get in touch and see how you can explore using the tool. Please be proactive and outreach to him. Mark, is it difficult to onboard someone? Can you run us briefly through what a standard onboarding looks like for some of your customers?
Sure, Crimson is very easy to access. It's a browser-based app. It's cloud-based, so there's no software that needs to be installed. It integrates with Outlook, and that's something that can be done very easily. So there's no big barrier to getting onboarded. It's a matter of hours, really.
That's super useful for our listeners to know because sometimes it can feel like a mountain to climb when they see an exciting tool and when actually things come in place and have several months of deployment and implementation. So it's good to hear that you guys have made this as frictionless as possible for anyone out there looking to try this. And you're an AI tool with litigators and dispute resolution professionals in mind. So do you see yourself more as a Swiss knife, or do you see yourself more as a scalpel?
We're definitely more a scalpel for litigators, for arbitrators. There are some general purpose AI tools on the market,
Mhm.
and what we keep hearing from dispute boutiques, but also larger firms, is that for litigation arbitration tasks, those don't really do the job well enough, and that's where we come, where Crimson comes in, and where we deliver something really bespoke, something much more focused.
And are there any alternatives on the market, or do you go head to head mostly with, let's say, more broader solutions? Let's maybe Harvey comes in mind, or Legora comes in mind. Is there anyone that is focusing in that area as much as you guys at the minute?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's really something that's quite exciting because it seems to be such an underserved market that there isn't really any established player just in the litigation space doing AI as an AI native product. In
Mhm.
fact, we were at a conference last week, and a disputes lawyer from a large international firm found us at our stand and said, I'd heard about Crimson. I've been looking for you guys everywhere. So it seems that there is demand for something really specific, and we're excited to be in this space.
So, I mean, it's a good space to be. Disputes litigation tends to be a very expensive element of law. So, I
Definitely.
think that you've definitely noticed a gap in the market that could be quite, um, quite lucrative, but also with what you guys seem to be building, you'll be addressing a genuine need for those litigation professionals. And with that in mind, in Future Lawyer UK coming up in just over 2 weeks, who are the people that are attending the conference that should walk up to you and speak with you and your team about Crimson?
Any disputes lawyer who'd like to see what AI tools in the litigation arbitration space can do for them, but also innovation managers, legal technologists that are interested in practice area specific solutions. So we've had lots of conversations with uh, um, those on the kind of innovation side rather than just practitioners themselves. And it's always great to hear from law firms kind of what they look for, because the message seems to be more and more vertically focused solutions that are really tailored to specific practice areas.
And I'm sure that with the boutique litigation firms, your way into those organizations is through some of the partners and some of the more senior practicing professionals. But with the larger firms, have you seen that um, you get more attention from the innovation teams, or do you still get most of the traction through the partners and practitioners?
That's a great question, and we've found exactly what you just described, that with larger firms, um, there are defined innovation functions. There are experts in those roles who know what's in the market, who know what the needs are for different practice areas, and we've had some excellent conversations with those, and we found it's probably less ideal if you go for partners or senior associates in those kinds of firms.
And one last question as we wrap up. The future is very exciting at the beginning of every new journey. What's your vision for the future in this space?
We think there will be many more practice area specific solutions. At the moment, there are quite a few horizontal platforms. We think that's probably because Gen AI is still a very recent phenomenon. So people are just getting used to the idea of chatbots or using AI and LLMs to help with their work. But there are limitations, and those limitations really are workflow specific. And we're convinced, and our big bet is that there will be specific solutions for every practice area. So that's what we think the future holds.
So it's a little bit like how legal professionals are currently structured in law firms. You've got M&A professionals, you've got litigation professionals, and so on and so forth. So your vision basically very much aligns with how things have been done for many centuries, if you wish, in the past. Now, obviously, with AI in place, the only difference would be that we'll have those, let's say, ultra capable artificial colleagues that will be there to support those practice areas.
Yes, I think that's exactly right. And we've seen this split of different practice areas for a long time, and people are already using very bespoke tools for those areas. So, an M&A lawyer doesn't use the same legal tech tools now as a litigator or a tax lawyer. And we believe there will be this kind of division of roles going forward. It will be specific technological solutions, AI solutions for each practice area, and people will be much more effective, much more efficient, and will enjoy the job much more because there'll be less menial work and much more interesting cerebral work. So I think it's an exciting future.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mark. For everyone that's listening and will be attending Future Law UK, Mark and his team will be in attendance between the 1st and the 4th of April. And of course, their active participation is on our Litigation and Dispute Resolution Day, which is the 3rd of April. Please come find Mark on the exhibition floor, connect with him and the colleagues on site, and make sure that you do a quick demo of Crimson as you are at the conference. And we look forward as the organizers to welcome him and the team, and we're very excited to see more in-depth development into those key practice areas. And Mark, best of luck with Crimson, and I look forward to personally meeting you about 2 weeks from now.
Thanks, Timo. Yes, looking forward to it.